Walking through Buenos Aires, my awareness of plants in the city sharpened. Coming from Berlin, I noticed how there were less green open spaces, less parks than what I had grown used to. I was sharing these parks with more people and dogs than what I had grown used to in Berlin. It was an invitation to rethink shared urban environments. The yellow of the leaves made quite an impression on me when I arrived in Buenos Aires for a semester abroad during my PhD program in March 2022. I had left from Berlin, where the first delicate signs of spring were eagerly appearing, to arrive in the full splendor of late summer in Argentina. For breaks from the reading and writing I was busy with, I liked to take walks to explore the city. I thought that I could see how the human inhabitants of Buenos Aires, like me, were yearning for signifiers of nature, for non-human life. During noon, I watched people frequent the tiny green patches to sit beside a tree or some shrubs and enjoy their lunch. My attention was drawn to the places people make available for plants, on their windowsill, inside as well as outside, tending to them as non-human companions. Some windows were so full of plants that I wondered if any light still entered into the room behind it. One of my favorite places was the Botanical Garden in Buenos Aires. It felt like a lush green island in an ocean of cars, their sound replacing the crashing waves. Only then I learned about the colonial history of botanical gardens. They were not only spaces for plant collection and representation, but also served to cultivate and study economically important species like rubber trees or coffee. Acting as seed banks and trading hubs, they facilitated the exchange of seedlings between colonized lands across continents. The historic botanical gardens of Sao Paulo and Buenos Aires still stand as remnants of the colonial web linking extractivist activities. In Argentina, I cultivated the practice of paying more attention to the plants around me. Afterwards, it became a habit to look out for plants in all the cities I moved through. Can you tell which cities provide the habitat for the plants you see here? In this series of photographs and short videos from 2014 to 2024, I explore these human-plant negotiations of space and care that shape the urban environment. Most of the images are from Berlin, Buenos Aires, Calgary, Kassel, and Sao Paulo. As my attunement to the plants surrounding me deepened, categories began to take shape in my mind. There are the plants who had been planted in the place where they were by humans, the ones planted by non-humans, birds, the wind or water, or those who planted themselves through offshoots or roots, extensions from the mother plant. There are the plants who are welcomed by humans, and the ones who are considered a nuisance, a weed. Those who humans tolerate and actively support in their plant projects, and those who humans try to get rid of regularly. Cities are multi-species environments of condensed cooperation as well as condensed competition, where humans and non-humans cohabit in complex entanglements, compete, or dwell seemingly side by side. These relations, in turn, shape urban infrastructures and interactions. I began noticing all kinds of plants, how they grew in the smallest, most unexpected places, whether human-made or not, contributing to increased biological diversity on Baumscheiben. Those are the small squares of soil around the trees planted along the city streets, and beyond. Some structures are designed for plants to grow in or on and complete their intended function. Other plants engage with human projects, but not in the way the makers of those projects designed, a state that Anna Tsing defines as ferality. Humans in cities are on the one hand constantly fighting back against the reconquering force of plants, taking out the weeds who grow in cracks of concrete and asphalt. If we didn't do that, the infrastructure of the city would soon become unusable for human purposes. On the other hand, humans seem to need plants so desperately not only for the obvious oxygen or food. They create habitats for plants in heavily contested spaces. So yes, swords to plowshares, but also parking lots to woodlands. Plants are also dynamic actors in shaping urban environments and creating habitats for other species. Plants are not mobile in the same way as animals and may therefore be seen as more passive. They take what is there, sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide, and produce oxygen, what makes them one of our most important allies. Nevertheless, they do travel, spreading and migrating through offshoots and roots by wind or waterborne seeds. Pedestrians carry spores of moss and lichen from one sidewalk to the next. After cultivating the habit of looking out for plants in the cities I move through, I came to think of them as much more active. Once a seed or offshoot reaches a habitable site, it starts growing and actively changing its environment. Moss, for example, growing in a fissure in concrete, creates a different microclimate just millimeters above the ground by slowing the wind through the friction against its surface and capturing moisture. This, in turn, can create habitats for other plants who will further crack open the concrete, provide shade, and bit by bit build up soil by contributing organic matter for compost, unless humans intervene against this reconquering force of plants. Both plants and humans attempt and sometimes fail to create spaces for mutual flourishing, whether in the colonial legacies of botanical gardens that also serve as recreational sites, or in temporarily vacant lots where human care or neglect and plant growth intersect. We need spaces for cultural flourishing. With the image of the cracking concrete and a young birch tree as a pioneer species in mind, let's consider Natasha Maya's call to refuse the aesthetics of ruin porn, which constrains our imaginations about wild growth to sites of cultural decay, as if it is only in the wake of human extinction that plants will be able to express their full, unfettered, monstrous powers. While it is nice, of course, to have lush vegetation on urban wastelands, we need space for cultural flourishing with plants, inside of inhabited cities, not abandoned places like the Chernobyl exclusion zone. These spaces are not high-tech solutions, greenery growing vertically on high-rise facades, which cost millions to install and depend on extractive labor and resources to maintain. These spaces for cultural flourishing need to be easy to create and maintain by humans and plants alike. Contemporary art has become outdated. The fluorescence has begun.